and welcome to GPB's live exploration, Georgia Peanuts. I'm your host, Ashley Mingwasser. We are live at the Georgia Peanut Commission's headquarters in Tifton, Georgia, and today we'll be exploring the state's peanut industry from the ground up. Truly, things are going to get a little nutty, so brace yourselves. During the show, you'll hear from a variety of experts as they take you on in-depth tours of the peanut industry and show you why Georgia is the country's #1 peanut producer. Georgia, you make us proud. Throughout the program, peanut experts will be available to answer your questions live. Just submit your question by sending us an email at education@gpb.org or tweet us. Send us a question via tweet using hashtag #PeanutsLive. We're also going to be asking you some questions. It's only fair. During the program, we will have 4 trivia questions for you to answer. And our peanut experts, who are the very cream of the crop, of course, will be explaining which option is correct. Because there's no time like the present, go ahead and get those devices out. I have your first pop quiz. The first question is, which scientist was known as the peanut doctor and discovered over 300 different ways to use peanuts? Is it Isaac Newton, George Washington Carver, Marie Curie, or Neil deGrasse Tyson? You only need to choose one of the following ways to vote. It's super simple. Just go to gpb.org/peanutslive and select your answer there. Or you can use a cell phone to text 1, 2, 3, or 4 to submit your vote to the phone number 430-206-3151. Now on to the nitty-gritty. I think it's time we get our hands a little dirty and learn how peanuts are grown right here in Georgia.
Peanuts contain a host of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients and are a good source of protein. This is vital because it helps our muscles develop, our immune system, our brain, as well as many parts of our bodies. It protects us against various diseases, and those nutrients are beneficial to our bodies in many ways. Research like ours and that of peanut breeding, technology, and farming is important in achieving the healthiest possible peanut.
Peanuts are really awesome in the fact that, contrary to its name as peanut, peanuts are not a nut as we think of them, but rather a legume, which means they fix their own nitrogen. They require very little, if any, soil fertilizer added to them. On that taproot are the little tiny roots, and each one of those roots has nodules of nitrogen on it. Nitrogen is a fertilizer source. So they are producing their own nitrogen and their own fertilizer. We grow cotton and corn and other crops that take the soil fertility. Peanuts put that back in. So it's a really good fit for a lot of the crops that we grow here in the South. There are other benefits that are there as well. Peanuts are very efficient in their utilization of water. I think we all have learned to value water and its utilization very highly, and peanuts are one of those crops that tend to use water very well. We use very few pesticides on peanuts for insects. There are a number of beneficial insects that come into the peanut fields. So from an ecosystem standpoint, and all the benefits that we've talked about with water usage and nitrogen, and then insects that are beneficial, that control bad insects, it's just a pretty incredible crop in my thinking. Peanut planting needs a couple of things for it to do really well. You need good warm temperatures, good warm soil temperatures, and it's a great May day in middle Georgia. So we think we have those conditions, and it's time to plant. We like a sandier soil to grow peanuts, and the big reason for that is so that we can dig easily. We typically plant peanuts when the soil moisture reaches 70 degrees or above. We first run over our beds, which were made back in April, to level them off a little bit and to break up any clods that might be there. And then the very next step is the planter. During that process, we're putting seed in the ground at a depth of about 2 inches. We're planting around 160 pounds of peanut seed per acre. Over our entire operation, it was like 30,000 pounds of peanut seed this year. We typically yield about 6,000 pounds per acre. Now that includes the seed, but you could say 75% of that is going to be peanuts. On a plant, there's probably 10 to 12 harvestable pod. The real critical thing about growing peanuts is determining the proper time to dig that peanut plant. And it's based on the percentages of harvestable pods. It is part science, it is part art. The University of Georgia developed a chart that we can scrape the outer layer of the peanut hulls, and by looking at the color of those outer layers, we can determine, if it's got 3 days before you should dig or 3 weeks before you should dig, and that part is science. When we come to that point, sometime in August and September, we're evaluating the peanuts that are on the plant and deciding when it's a proper time to dig. The most mature being a dark brown and black, and the least mature being white. And that really is important because maturity, from a farmer standpoint, affects how we get paid and the price we receive per ton. But from the consumer standpoint, a mature peanut is the best tasting peanut. The machine that we're using to dig the peanuts is called a digger shaker inverter. And it simply brings the peanuts out of the ground, shakes a little dirt off, turns them up, and allows them to dry so that we can come over it with our harvesting machines in 3 to 4 days. The internal workings of a peanut combine are different than most any other kind of combine you might want to have. And it's a cylinder, it's probably this big around, with spring teeth that just almost tear the vines apart and tear the peanuts off of those vines. And then the peanuts go into the hopper and the vines then just go out on the ground. The freshly dug peanuts are a very high moisture, and so they have a completely different flavor. We dry them on down to 10% so they can store, and you get more of that nutty flavor. When we dump from our peanut combines into the wagon and fill each wagon has a volume of roughly 7 tons. The typical process for peanuts is to go to a buying point.
I have inspected peanuts for 8 years, and then this room is the grading process where we filter out sticks and rocks and stones, and then we shell them to find out the moisture, and then make sure we're protected, the consumer's protected with quality peanuts. And at the end of it, we're going to do a grade sheet. It's like a report card that will tell us all the information that we need to pay the farmer.
Obviously, we all like to pay our bills at the end of the year, but what makes it worthwhile for me is that this is a plant that's growing. You can see the top, but you really don't know what is underneath that plant till you turn it over. And that is the most awesome thing, is to turn that plant over to see what really years of preparation and work and planning have made. And I think that's one of the unique blessings about being a peanut farmer, is to see that plant come up. Providing a healthy soil ultimately provides a healthy crop. And we try to maximize our efficiencies and to keep that soil healthy for generations so that we can grow wonderful peanuts. We can provide food for all of us.
I'm amazed. We are so thankful for farmers who help put food on our plates every single day. Speaking of which, joining me now to talk more about his role as a peanut farmer is the one and only Donald Chase. Welcome to the side of the show, Donald.
Thank you, Ashley. Glad to be here.
I'm excited you're here. I thought what you said was fascinating. I could really delve into it, but I'm curious. We just got a little sneak peek of what you do, but how did you choose the peanut profession?
Well, having grown up on a farm with my family, it was kind of fun. I enjoyed it. It was my hobby. And after college, I returned, and it's been great to have raised my family there in that environment.
You work right outside growing delicious food. Sounds like a dream job to me. Well, we have a question coming in from our audience, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. It's a good one. Bobby in Mrs. Allen's second grade class at Pleasant Grove Elementary wants to know, what is the life cycle of a peanut? Donald?
Well, the peanut that you eat is actually a seed, and we plant that, and it takes about a week for that to emerge and sprout roots, and then it produces these really nice yellow flowers that you see here.
Oh my goodness. I don't know what I imagined the peanut plant looking like, but I did not imagine these pretty yellow flowers, Donald.
Yes, and after the yellow flowers emerge, the really cool thing happens is that it produces a peg. There is a peg, and that goes down into the soil and begins to form a pod. And as that pod grows and develops, it matures into a peanut, and we can shell that and eat it again.
That's the part we eat. Well, that explains why we have so many peanut pods on one plant. Okay, it looks like we have more questions coming in from our audience. Let's take a look. Emma and Callaway, hi, they're third graders at Cartersville Elementary School. They would like to know, how many different kinds of peanuts are there?
Well, there are 4 different market types of peanuts. There are the Virginia, the Valencia, the Spanish, and we in the South, in Georgia, predominantly grow a runner peanut.
A runner peanut. I like the name of that one. Hayden, a third grader in Coffee County, Georgia, wants to know, what are the majority of the grown peanuts in Georgia used to produce?
Well, this is exciting because if you like peanut butter and jelly, you're in luck because most of the peanuts in Georgia are grown for peanut butter.
Peanut butter. That's an answer I like, Donald. Keep those questions coming. Remember, you can ask our experts questions by sending an email to education@gpb.org or by sending us a tweet. Just use the hashtag #PeanutsLive. Now, earlier in the show, we asked you our first quiz question. I think it's time we take a look at those results. The question was, which scientist was known as the peanut doctor who discovered over 300 different ways to use peanuts? Here's what you said. Wow, pretty outstanding. They seem to have an opinion. Donald, who's the right answer? Are they right?
Yes, they are. The right answer is Dr. George Washington Carver.
Dr. George Washington Carver. Okay, and we actually have a question specifically about Dr. Carver. Mrs. Walters' class at Midway Elementary in Pierce County says they have been studying George Washington Carver of late. How very timely. And they want to know more about his many discoveries, including peanuts. What did he discover?
Well, perhaps the most important thing for me as a farmer is he developed a crop rotation using peanuts in between crops of cotton and corn to replenish the soil.
What does crop rotation do? What is that process?
It means that we plant a year of peanuts and then maybe 2 years of some other crop. And the peanuts are legume and they produce nitrogen so that it helps us to grow better crops in the years that we're not growing peanuts.
So peanuts help us replenish the earth.
Exactly.
I love it. Such collaborators. So with peanuts being grown on different types of farms, I imagine that means it opened up a whole new market for the peanut crop.
It did, and then Dr. Carver, with the 300 uses of peanuts, made it so that it was economically viable to grow peanuts as well.
The plant that keeps on giving. Incredible. And it looks like we have more questions coming in. Here's another one, Donald. Mariah, David, Lily, Vedahi, and Libby in Mr. Bowen's 8th grade class at Crisp County Middle School want to know, which Georgia city produces the most peanuts?
Well, that's a trick question,
but
peanuts are grown in the country. And the usual answer is Sylvester, Georgia. But it varies around the state with differing counties, mostly because of crop rotation and the fact that we don't plant peanuts every year on the same land.
Ah, that makes perfect sense. A bit of a moving target, I see. Are you ready for more?
Yes.
Melody, a 5th grader in Miss McWhorter's class at Bleckley County, Georgia, asks, when were peanuts discovered?
I don't know the answer to that. There have been peanuts peanuts in wild cultivation for as long as we know, and they have moved around the world, different production, but commercially, Dr. Carver then helped us to develop a commercial market here in the States.
They've been around, they're here to stay as long as we keep replenishing the soil.
Exactly.
All right. Micah in Mrs. Madrid's class wants to know why peanut farms are important.
Well, peanut farms are farms that grow everything in all of our communities here in Georgia. We support the economies, we support our educational structure in each of those counties. So we think that the peanut is the foundation for the economy in a lot of our local communities.
From the ground up, like we said. Go ahead and get your devices out because it's time for your next quiz question. Here it is. Which of the following technologies is commonly used by peanut farmers? Here are your options: drones, laser cutters, 3D printers, or virtual reality headsets. Remember to cast your vote online at gpb.org/peanuts live or text 1, 2, 3, or 4 to 430-206-3151. Speaking of technology, I think it's time we dig into the machines behind the crop.
Farming equipment has changed dramatically since the Industrial Revolution. Back in that time, over 90% of the population was actively involved in farming, but that was primarily for the purpose of just having enough food to feed your family and to survive. Nowadays, farmers feed hundreds of people on what they produce. 100 years ago, on a farm, the primary source of power was from animals, from mules or horses, things like that. A lot of your acres had to be in hay just to feed the animals. With the internal combustion engine, it allowed a farmer to do a whole lot more with his acres than he could before. You put diesel in it and you can now farm those acres to produce food for human consumption. The tractor is very important, not just for peanut farming, but all agriculture. It's the main power source that pulls implements through the field.
The future of robotics and automation in peanut market is already started. We have already started to see some of the semi-autonomous vehicles like UAVs or some robotics, whether autonomous tractors or harvesters into peanut production.
Autonomous means without intervention. So if I turn it on and I've given it a plan, it should operate by itself. So the main thing that technology is being used for is primarily to increase production and increase efficiency. In the 1980s, we started kind of a precision ag revolution. Basically, the GPS satellites allowed us to be able to map fields, and that has really improved the production from an equipment standpoint.
Over the last decade, the whole precision ag concept has changed tremendously with introduction of a lot of different technologies, and the word precision has almost changed where we're getting more and more precise every day.
Digital science and computer technology plays an increasing role in peanut farming. Essentially, the tractor has a GPS system on it, and it's talking to the satellites. The satellites in space are generally 3 to 4 foot off from a position. And so we use RTK base stations, that's real-time kinetic GPS signal, that correct that signal. So the satellites talk to our RTK base station that knows exactly its correct latitude and longitude points. And from there, it sends out a corrected signal to the tractor so that it can know exactly where it's supposed to be within an inch. Because if we're to the left or to the right a couple inches, those are peanuts that we're leaving in the ground and yield that we're not capturing. Now as our population has increased year to year, we're having to feed the same or more people with less land each year. And with that, we're having to make sure that our yields on those planted acres are better each year.
Planters are very important tools for all farmers. A planter takes a hopper of seeds and it singulates seeds one at a time and it plants them in the drill or in the row. For that plant to reach its optimal yield potential and grow the most that it can, those seeds need to be spaced accurately in the drill or in the row. They don't need to be too close together or too far apart. In peanut farming, it's very important to have a very good method of harvesting the crop. You've spent all the year trying to make sure you planted the crop very well, you've watered it, you've took care of it, you've made sure that it doesn't have disease and pests and things like that. And at harvest time, you want to make sure that you collect every single kernel of those peanuts that you can. So it's important to have a good peanut harvester. When farmers came to us to harvest more acres within a day, we designed the industry's first unload-on-the-go peanut combine, which prior to that, you have a stationary tank on top of the combine, and once peanuts fill that up, then you have to stop the machine and go and empty that into a wagon or a trailer. Well, with the unload-on-the-go conveyor, you don't have to stop. The peanut harvester can continue to harvest while the crop is being unloaded. Farmers can save money in a variety of ways. From equipment standpoint, if they can harvest more acres in a day with the same amount of fuel and manpower, then it's more efficient for them. In the United States, agriculture as a whole has tremendously improved over the past 40 or 50 years. Not just in mechanization, but in the seed genetics and actually having a good quality seed that can grow and produce a large yield. So having all of the different agricultural research areas work together is important to the farmer to make sure that he grows the best quality crop that he can and make the most money for it.
Peanut breeding is very important to agriculture, particularly in Georgia, since Georgia does produce about 50% of the U.S. peanuts. And the growers, of course, wants to maximize their yield with reducing their inputs and their costs for producing that crop. And so therefore, peanut breeding is targeted towards achieving that goal. Peanut breeding is basically taking a mommy and a daddy and hybridizing the two or crossing the two and looking at the offspring to see if there's a better offspring than either mommy or daddy. A better offspring would be one that, say, has higher yield or has higher disease resistance, or it could have improved nutrition or other quality traits in the seed. So there are a lot of traits that we try to improve in peanut. The advances in computer science and technology that have impacted our work are many. As far as computers are concerned, again, their power has improved exponentially from a decade ago, and therefore the amount of data that we can actually utilize to ask questions and try to address those questions is vastly increased. Technology as far as genetics has also advanced enormously, and so those genetic technologies include DNA sequencing. And in the DNA sequencing, we've recently, in an international collaboration, sequenced the peanut genome, which has really led to a lot of advances. And so there's going to be some much faster advances made in improving peanut.
Farming's changed drastically over the years, and it's going to change more and more. As we enhance our technology and the size of our equipment, it's just going to be more impactful and get faster paced.
Making growers more precise and actually leading to less waste and more yield per crop.
Increasing efficiency helps the bottom line, and that's kind of what the technology is being developed for.
A timeline gives you a sense of accomplishment in the past. It also lets you try to communicate that sense of continuous improvement to the upcoming generation, that we continue the same innovations going forward as we have in the past.
There's certainly no shortage of creativity and innovation in the peanut industry. Here with me now is Keith Rucker, an agronomist with Bayer Crop Science. Welcome, Keith.
Glad to be here.
I love that you're an agronomist. I like the way it sounds. What does it mean?
So an agronomist is a scientist. Really, we're a biologist that specializes in crops that are grown for food and fiber. And what we do is we go out and do research. We conduct experiments on the plants. We learn how to grow things better. And then we teach farmers how to use these new practices so that they can increase their efficiency and grow more food to feed a hungry world.
So you like to get your hands dirty?
Absolutely.
All right, I love it. Well, speaking of dirt, South Georgia's soil is unique because it's soft, it's sandy. Can you explain why that type of soil is beneficial to the peanut plant in particular?
Sure, so peanuts really like sandy soil. That's really where they thrive the best, and for two different reasons. Number one, the sandy soil is a well-drained soil. Peanut roots don't like to be in a really wet, soggy soil. And sand, because it's so coarse, the water will drain out of it. It will stay moist, so the plant has plenty of water, but it's not too wet. Okay. And the other reason they like sand is because that sand is so soft. When that peanut pod goes down into the ground and starts to swell up and develop, it's got to have room to grow, so that sand will just kind of let it grow. And then when the peanut farmer goes to harvest his crop, he has to dig the peanuts out of the ground, turn them upside down, and they dig up out of that soft soil much easier.
Well, we like evidence, Keith. You brought some proof to your theory here, so show us what you got.
Yeah, so we got two different plants here, and this nice looking green plant here was grown in good South Georgia soil, and you can see how it looks really nice. We got good looking bright green leaves, and over here on the side,
pegging.
Yeah, you can see the pegs coming down. These come from the flowers, they come from the stem into the soil, and you can see some different stages of the peanuts as they're growing. These would be underground in a normal situation in the dirt.
And how does that compare to this sad guy here?
Yeah, so this sad guy over here was actually grown in a North Georgia clay, which like you'd find in North Georgia. Mm-hmm. And because it stays so wet, notice how pale green the leaves are? The roots just can't function the way they're supposed to in that really wet soil. So it just doesn't grow as well.
So you really have to go beneath the surface to determine the root of the problem. And with peanut plants, it seems like sometimes the problem could be the soil.
The soil is very often the problem.
Okay, well, all of this insight is making something else grow, Keith, and that is our list of questions. So would you help us out?
Absolutely.
Okay, Kennedy, a third grade student at Chattahoochee Hills Charter School, asks, where else do peanuts grow?
So in the United States, peanuts typically grow in the southern part of the country, partially because they like a long, hot growing season, but also because of the sand we talked about. So they're typically along the coastal states from about Virginia all the way over to Texas, although Georgia grows about half of all the peanuts grown in the country. Now, in other parts of the world, they also grow in Central and South America, Africa, Australia, and even in parts of Asia.
Peanuts all around the world where we need them. Second graders at Weston Elementary School have a question. How does the peanut crop bring nutrients to the soil for other crops? We heard a little bit about this earlier from Donald.
Yeah, great question. So peanuts belong to a very unique family of plants that are called legumes. And legumes are really cool because they have this magical ability to do this thing that's called nitrogen fixation, which is a real fancy term that basically means that they can take nitrogen that's in the atmosphere, that's out in the air, that is not usable to the plant, and chemically change it to basically a fertilizer that the plant can utilize. And when they do this, not only does it help the peanut crop grow that year, but it leaves some of that fertilizer in the soil so that when you plant crops after that, it's there to help them grow as well. So it builds the soil up.
Always giving back. I love the peanut plant. And Keith, I understand you're not only an expert in agronomy, oh no, but you also know a bit about farming machinery.
Yeah,
Tell us more.
So it's a hobby of mine. I enjoy restoring antique old farm equipment, any type of machinery. I do a lot of volunteer work with the Georgia Museum of Agriculture here in Tifton, Georgia, where you can come and actually learn how farming was done back in the old days.
That is amazing. You are a true South Georgia Renaissance man, Keith, and you sound like the perfect person to help us answer our second quiz question, which was, which of the following technologies is more frequently used by peanut farmers? Now, here's what our audience said, Keith. Let's take a look. All right.
They're pretty good.
Predominantly, they're saying drones. Which one is correct?
It is drones, and you can see we have a drone sitting here on the table. And these are really helpful to peanut farmers, really farmers in general, because your average peanut farmer is going to be growing 300 to 400 acres of just peanuts. That's a lot of ground to cover, and they really can't see it all from the ground. They could go rent an airplane and fly over it, but that's really expensive, costs a lot of money. But with these new drone technology that we have now, you can take a little quadcopter like this. It's kind of like a helicopter.
Yeah, how does it operate?
Has propellers on it, and it can fly up above the crop, fly around. It has this camera right here on the front that you can look and actually see. On the screen while you're going, you can take pictures of your crop.
Survey the land.
And you can see the problems in your field from the bird's eye view that you really can't see from the ground. Farmers control the drone using a system like this right here. You have like a phone or an iPad on here where you can see what's going on. And it's got little joysticks, kind of like a game controller. And you can use this to take the aircraft off and fly it, and we'll go forward, backwards, sideways, whatever you need to do to fly around and take a look at your crop from the air.
And the reason you use drones and not other aircraft is because
this is so much less expensive than having to rent time on a real airplane.
And more compact.
Absolutely.
I like that about it. Okay, you got to think smarter, not harder. Speaking of thinking smarter, we have a lot of smart questions coming in from our audience. We have another question from Mrs. Wright's first grade class. They want to know what the peanut shells on the outside are made out of. I've always wondered.
Okay, great. So peanut shells are made up primarily of a material called cellulose. And cellulose is the same thing that makes up wood, like in this table that we have here. So it's a plant-based material. Trees are plants, just like peanuts are. They produce that cellulose, and it's very similar to wood.
Like this, cellulose. We have another live question coming in, Keith. Riley, a fourth grader at North Douglas Elementary, asks, how long do peanuts last before they start to rot?
Yeah, well, I think probably a better way to answer this is how long before they go bad. When you harvest that crop, those peanuts that we shell out and using for food, they will last about 1 year. And what happens generally is the oils inside the peanuts after a year will start to go bad. They'll develop some bad flavors, and they're really just not any good anymore. So that's why it's important that we grow a new crop every single year so that we have fresh peanuts to feed people.
To feed us, which we very much appreciate. All right, here's another one for you, Keith. Mrs. Parr's kindergarten class wants to know if peanut plants need pollinators in order to grow.
Very good question, too. And peanuts are kind of a unique plant in that they are what we call self-pollinating. So the flower, inside that yellow flower, the stamens, which is the part of the plant where the pollen comes from, they're actually covered up. So bees really can't even get to them, but they pollinate themselves. And it's really handy because genetically speaking, the peanut seed is true to the plant. So you can take that peanut seed that you grow, plant it, and it will grow the exact same peanut plant year after year after year. Most crops don't do that. You have to breed them every year to get what you want.
Keith, the more I learn about the peanut, the more I respect it. Truly sophisticated. So many great questions, and thank you for sharing your expertise, Keith, with our audience. But now it's time again for us to ask you another question. So here's your third pop quiz. Take a look. All right, which of the following foods is in the same food group as the peanut? Is it cereal, milk, chicken, or broccoli? All right, while you're chewing on that, it's time to continue our exploration and learn how peanuts are an entire industry here in Georgia and beyond.
Peanuts are a big business in Georgia and really impacts every aspect of our economy. Just looking at the farm gate value and the production value, it's over a $2 billion industry. And if you add in the value of the equipment manufacturers, the food processors, it's even more than that. So the peanut industry in Georgia, it's vitally important, and it actually contributes more than 50,000 jobs in Georgia. When we come up with new ways to utilize peanuts, it's just a never-ending cycle that continues to grow and expand, and it's really important to all of Georgia's economy. Georgia farmers produce around 50% of all the peanuts in the United States. And that number does fluctuate some years, more or less, but on average it's around 50% every year. Traditionally, Georgia peanuts are grown in the southern part of Georgia. Really, it's below the fall line. And so there's around 76 counties that grow peanuts, and we have around 4,500 peanut farmers across the state of Georgia. The peanut industry in Georgia encompasses so many job opportunities. You do have the farmers that produce and grow the peanuts, but then you also have the workers at the local peanut buying points, which is the first point where farmers actually sell their peanuts. And then you have employees of peanut shelling plants, blanchers. You have equipment manufacturers that are making equipment for farmers to use, but also for shellers, in addition to other agriculture equipment. And then you have food processors that are developing all the wonderful food products that we get from peanuts and peanut butter.
Our two best sellers, fried peanuts and peanut brittle, plus the peanut butter ice cream that's got the secret ingredient in it. We use only local peanuts, and all of our peanuts come from local farmers here in Georgia. Preston Carter was a peanut farmer, and he owned the peanut warehouse, but then we had no retail outlet in Plains that could buy peanuts. And so I thought, well, good time to start one. And now we sell our product all over the United States. We ship, and we got jobbers that sells our products in 6 different states. And of course, every peanut we sell is one more peanut the farmers got to produce. And so it helps the farmers out and the economy out of the Plains.
Not only are peanuts important to Georgia's economy by the domestic consumption within the U.S., but peanuts from Georgia are also exported around the world. And some of our top buyers where peanuts are exported to include Mexico, Canada, the European Union, as well as China and Japan. And a lot of those peanuts are exported out of the port of Savannah.
The great thing about peanuts is they're the right kind of protein, and they're easy to ship, they're easy to process, and they're great to eat. And so it's the cheapest way to get protein to a world that needs it. Manna is mother-administered nutritive aid. It's these little packets of peanut butter that look like an oversized ketchup packet, and they're made for kids who are severely, acutely malnourished. It restores them back to their normal health. And so we make it at a plant here in Georgia using Georgia peanuts and ship it off all over the world to feed kids who are malnourished. One thing we didn't expect when we started Manna was the impact that we would have on our local community. Now we're one of the biggest employers in our town. It was kind of a pleasant surprise that our impact that we thought would be far off on the other side of the world is not just on the other side of the world, but it's making a difference right here in Georgia, and families are being transformed and changed here in Georgia too.
Georgia peanuts are so popular within the state that they're also celebrated through a variety of peanut festivals. The cities of Brooklet, Plains, Sylvester, and Blakely, Georgia all celebrate Georgia's peanuts through a festival each year, recognizing and honoring the farmers that grow the delicious peanuts.
I don't think Georgia would be the state she is without the peanut industry and agriculture. And we know that here in Plains. The ultimate goal of the Peanut Festival is to celebrate our past and our present. Is to make those farmers know, in our area in particular, that we're proud of what they do. Every one of these stores will be open. And there are some of these stores that during the Peanut Festival weekend can generate income that it takes them a month and a half to 2 months to do otherwise. We had one year where they estimated about 3,000 people came through. It contributes to the economy in Plains, and that's a good thing.
We also have those that are involved in the peanut industry by studying research and looking for ways that farmers can be more sustainable on the farm and continually to increase their yield and production. But then we have those like me that's involved with communications that help educate farmers about the research projects and ways they can improve things on their farm, but also promote peanuts to consumers and let them know about all the health and nutritional benefits of consuming peanuts and peanut butter. Americans actually consume enough peanut butter each year to cover the floor of the Grand Canyon. Through the years, peanut production in Georgia has continued to increase, and Georgia farmers produce nearly half of all the peanuts, and sometimes even more than half of all the peanuts in the United States. In 1995, the General Assembly in Georgia passed the peanuts as Georgia's official state crop. And one of the main reasons was just the overall importance to Georgia's economy. And it just continues to grow as new products are developed and new ways to strengthen the overall U.S. peanut economy.
So far in our program, we've talked about how peanuts benefit the earth, how they benefit the economy, but there's one very important thing we need to discuss here, and that's eating. Finally, peanuts are a superfood, to say the least. Here with me now is Holly Thaw, a farm-to-school specialist with the Georgia Department of Education. Hi, Holly, welcome.
Hey, Ashley, thank you for having me.
I'm excited about what you're going to teach us. But before we talk about this contraption here, tell us a little bit more about your role with the Georgia Department of Education.
Sure. As farm-to-school specialist, I work to support farm-to-school initiatives that connect all parts of the food system with all aspects of the school day. Farm to School creates opportunities for students to learn where their food comes from and why that's important, and also to connect knowledge from all subject areas in engaging ways. It's experienced through things such as eating local foods in school meals, working in school gardens, and even participating in food-based learning activities in the classroom.
Amazing. You share things that are delicious and nutritious. That's a fun job. And I understand that September is actually the official month that we celebrate peanuts. Tell us more.
That's right. So at the Georgia Department of Education, we have a Harvest of the Month initiative where we have a calendar that highlights an item each month that our school nutrition programs are most likely to be able to source locally to serve in their school meals. And in addition to those items, we also highlight 6 important items to our state. So in September, we celebrate peanuts along with apples.
All of it is food for thought. I'm sure our audience wants to know more about peanut consumption. I certainly do. This is my favorite part of the show. So let's see what questions they have for you. Starting with Grayson, a student in Miss McWhorter's class at Bleckley County Elementary. She asks, what causes peanut allergies?
That's a great question. We don't know exactly what causes peanut allergies, but we do know that when someone has a peanut allergy, their body, their immune system identifies the protein in peanuts as something that's harmful. And so we know that there's ongoing research to better understand allergies and maybe even if we can prevent them from happening in the future. But we know for now that there's best practices to keep people safe that have allergies.
Great. So it's based on your own genetic makeup, which we can't really predict until you know. All right, here's another one for you, Holly. Lennox, a student in Mrs. Pugh's 4th grade class, wants to know, how many peanuts does it take to fill up a jar of peanut butter?
That's a good question too. You know, I think it's about 540, almost 600 peanuts to fill up 1 jar of peanut butter.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot of peanuts. Holly, earlier in the show, we asked our audience this quiz question. Let's weigh in on it. Which of the following foods is in the same food group as peanuts? Here are the responses. Wow. Pretty divided there between the first and final answers. What is the right answer, Holly? You know it. Fill us in.
I see that. So you might first think that peanuts should be in the same food group as something like broccoli, a vegetable, but actually peanuts belong to the protein food group along with chicken because they contain so much protein.
That is interesting. And how do we understand protein?
Sure, so protein is one of the 5 basic food groups. And so when you think about things such as poultry or meats or eggs or even seafood, those are all animal sources of protein, but there are also things such as beans, peas, lentils, nuts, seeds, and soy products that are plant-based sources of protein. And peanuts are a great example of a plant-based protein because they actually provide more protein than any nut.
Peanuts pack a protein punch, as they say.
That's
right. Do they say that? Someone should. We have another question for you. This one is from DJ in Miss Farmer's 3rd grade class. He wants to know if peanuts are actually healthy to eat. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Absolutely, peanuts are healthy. So in addition to that protein, they provide essential vitamins and minerals along with fiber and some healthy fats. And so those fiber, healthy fats, and protein work together to even make us feel more satisfied and less hungry between meals and snacks.
I ate some peanuts before the show and I feel very satisfied.
Smart, thank you.
Thank you. Very interesting. We have a new question for you, Holly. This one is from Jocelyn at Myers Elementary in Gainesville, Georgia. She wants to know, can you do any experiments with peanuts? Jocelyn, can you see the future? How does she know?
Yes, thank you so much, Jocelyn, for asking that question because we actually have an exciting experiment with peanuts planned today.
What do we do first, Holly?
So first, we do safety first. Let's put on these safety glasses.
Glad you mentioned it.
And here you can see we have a peanut on a stretched out paper clip, which is attached to a cork surrounded by some foil. So what we're gonna do is when you think about a food or you look at a food, you can't see the energy that's associated with food, but I'm gonna light.
Oh, wow. Don't try this at home, kids. We have a real flame here.
I'm gonna go ahead and light this peanut on fire to demonstrate that all foods have energy. So that energy that's being produced through the flame is associated with the energy inside the peanut. So even though we don't think about, necessarily energy when we're looking at foods or different types of energy, we know that energy is required for when we do things such as exercise or just everyday functions in terms of even breathing. So
what about this guy?
Like peanuts burn for a long time, but look what happens when I light this cereal piece on fire.
There we go. It's got a flame.
It does. So you can see that peanut flame is still going strong, and the cereal flame is just getting started, but it's going to go out a lot quicker than that peanut flame. So when we think about different foods, they all provide energy, but some foods provide energy that lasts a lot longer. So it's a good idea to incorporate things like peanuts in our meals and snacks. So if you think about for breakfast, for example, maybe you had a grain such as oatmeal, so you might want to stir in some peanut butter to that oatmeal.
There it goes, it's already out. And the peanut is still aflame.
That's right, so that peanut or the peanut butter in your oatmeal would help you feel more full for a longer period of time. That energy is longer lasting.
Well, I'm gonna put this flame out because we are guests here at the Peanut Commission, so we don't want to burn the house down. Oh, thank you for your service, Peanut. Wow, I have a whole new perspective on what it means to burn energy. Okay, here we go. We have a few more questions for you from our audience, Holly. You ready for us?
Okay, great.
Here we go. Let's take one now. This one's from Jasmine and Mia from Miss Becker's 3rd grade class at Cartersville Elementary. They want to know, do elephants have to have peanuts in their diet? Common folklore.
That's a great question. You know, elephants in the wild do not consume peanuts.
What? My whole life has been a lie.
I know. But what I do know about elephants is it is true that they have a great memory. So they say elephants never forget.
That's true.
What you can think about is always remember that like elephants never forget. Don't forget that peanuts are a healthy option.
Peanuts are a healthy option. I love it. Okay, here's another one. You ready? Neela in Miss Holmes' class at Westwood Elementary asked which state loves peanuts more. Well, this one's easy.
I mean, I'd have to say
in a word,
Georgia, obviously.
Okay, here's another one for you. Blaze from Larry Family Homeschool in Floyd, New York wants to know how peanut butter is made.
Well, thank you for asking that question as well. So it's, you might think with the word peanut butter that peanut butter has butter in it, but that's actually not correct. So peanut butter is very simple to make. It's easy, you can do it at home, and it doesn't have anything added like butter in it. Instead, that creamy texture comes from the oils that are inside of peanuts.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Okay, well, I think you're actually going to show us what this looks like. And in true TV fashion, we've done this ahead of time. Show me what you got here.
Absolutely. So we have about 2 cups of peanuts measured out here. And what you would do is that you would take just plain peanuts and add it to a food processor. Now that's all you have to do, but if you want to add in a little more flavor, you could add something like some honey or potentially a little bit of salt to boost that flavor. But then once you get
totally optional.
Absolutely optional, yes. So that's one of my favorite things about it. Now that when you add this into your food processor, you'll just allow it to process for about a minute. And then after a minute, you'll see it starts to get sort of a powdery texture.
Yeah, I see that at the bottom there.
And then if you allow it to process just a little bit longer, then those oils will start to create that creamy texture that we're used to when we think about peanut butter.
Oh, and I just want to dip a fork right in there.
Me too.
Get to town.
Or maybe an apple.
Or maybe an apple, even healthier. That's why you're here, Holly. But before you go, I got to ask. All right, ready? Team creamy or team crunchy?
Oh, I love this question. So I normally buy more creamy options at home because I have young girls, but personally, I'm team crunchy.
I'm right there with you. But peanut butter is delightful in any consistency. And while we're talking about peanut butter, go ahead and get your devices out because it's time for the final pop quiz question. Here it is. Peanut butter has sometimes been used as a substitute for which of the following items you see here? You've got shaving cream, sunscreen, mortar, or toothpaste. Wow, those are the most interesting choices we've seen in this entire show. But as we've learned, there are so many great uses for peanuts, and that is worth celebrating. Check out how we celebrate and party for peanuts here in Georgia.
Plains is a peanut town. When you go back and look at what President Carter did, he ran for president on the basis that he was a peanut farmer from South Georgia and that he rose to the highest office in the United States, and he ran on that premise that anybody can become president. We have to celebrate that. Plains has to celebrate that. Plains is one of those little tiny towns that make people realize that you can do anything you want to do. And it's okay to be from South Georgia, and it's okay to have pulled peanuts out of a field. It's okay to celebrate what makes us great. The festival began many, many years ago. Today it is a myriad of things. We have in our community center, which is behind this row of buildings. You can go from table to table to table, and anything you can imagine that's related to the peanut, you can get there. We have a road race, so people can come and run our road race and earn points for the Peachtree Road Race. We have a postcard contest, which is sponsored by the education program for the Jimmy Carter National Historical Park. We have a big parade. All day long we'll have craft vendors in the park. We'll have activities for children to do. Mr. Peanut has always come in the past. The Peanut Mobile has been here. In September, the peanut industry is in full swing. So at any given time during the festival, you've got those red trailers going down the road full of peanuts. It's just a day of celebration, and at the end of the day, we're worn out, but it's a good kind of being worn out. So we celebrate peanuts all day long. We honor major players in the peanut world to let them know that we know that without them, we'd be very hard-pressed to be who we are as a community.
And one of the MVP's most valuable peanut farmers, celebrated in September, is our friend Farmer Donald, back by popular demand. Donald, what's your favorite part about attending a peanut festival?
Well, I enjoyed the bike ride to the festival. Shout out to Sumter Cycling.
I wasn't expecting that. Sounds like a fun time, especially with the possible celebrity sightings of President Jimmy Carter and First Lady Rosalind Carter. Now, during that clip, we asked our final quiz question, which was, peanut butter has sometimes been used as a substitute for which of the following? And here are our results, Donald. Let's take a look. Wow, there they are. A little bit divided across the board here. I've never been more curious about anything in my life. What's the right answer, Donald?
Well, the right answer is shaving cream.
Really?
And that uses the creamy kind, not the crunchy.
Yeah, that seems like it might be a little dangerous. I think I'm gonna stick with the traditional shaving cream, but it's good to know in case I'm ever in a bind. We've had a lot of questions come in, so let's see what the audience wants to know. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, here we go, diving in. Inaya, a 4th grader in Douglasville, Georgia, asks, how many peanuts can you harvest each year?
Well, we do have the limiting factor would be weather. So you need to get them harvested before it gets too cold, and you have to wait for they're fully mature. So on our farm, we harvest about 35 acres a day, or about 100 tons a day.
100 tons a day, that's amazing. Here's another one. Chris from Tift County, Georgia, right here, is he in the building? Asks, how does one know when peanuts are good for consumption? When are they ready to eat?
Well, after that pod matures a little bit, you can start to eat them, and they're really good when they're kind of immature for boiling. Really, we want them for other uses to be a little more mature. So we spend a lot of time on that as farmers.
Okay, because for taste, right? In the
Absolutely.
It's always about taste. Okay. Well, Miss Hinman students at North Douglas Elementary School ask, how long does it take for peanuts to grow?
Peanuts are usually 140 days, most of the varieties that we have here. So it's a longer growing season, and they need to be planted when the soil temps are about 70 degrees.
All right. Xavier from Mrs. Snyder's class wants to know if it's hard to grow peanuts. You can really just be honest here. This is a safe space, Donald. Just tell us how you feel.
No, it's not hard to grow peanuts. Peanuts will grow miraculous plant. They'll grow most anywhere. It's hard. You do have to do some management, and we also, in certain parts of the state, would have a difficult time getting them out of the ground.
Yes, you described it as an art and a science.
Absolutely.
Which I think beautifully captures it. Here's another one. This is Kanan, a 3rd grader in Miss Shirley's class at Westside Elementary. Kanan would like to know if peanuts are sold based on their weight.
Absolutely. So we sell them by the ton, which is 2,000 pounds, and the grade factors determine the value of that ton of peanuts.
Okay, and we have this question from Darian, an 8th grader in Mr. Millard's class at East Coweta Middle School. How big can a peanut get? Giant.
Well, the different varieties, the Virginia peanut can get probably 1.5 inches. They're larger. Our runners don't typically get that size, but there are varying varieties that have different size peanuts.
Peanuts. Mrs. Lundy's 5th grade class wants to know if peanuts are also yellow when they first grow or just the flowers that are yellow.
Just the flowers.
Just the flowers. Okay, well, nuts. That's all the time we have today. Thank you, students, for your participation, and a special thanks to our live guests, Farmer Donald, Keith, and Holly, as well as the Georgia Peanut Commission and all of our partners on this exciting program. But the fun doesn't have to end here. You can learn more about Georgia Peanuts with GPB's latest virtual learning journey. It's a free digital resource that includes videos, photo galleries, interactive elements, activities, my favorite, and so much more. Access that and other free learning resources on gpb.org/peanutslive. Well, that's officially enough for me here in the Peanut Gallery. I'm Ashley Mingwasser. We'll see you soon with more innovative live explorations from GPB Education. Until next time, bye-bye.